often called liquid gold, has long been a must-have in modern kitchens around the world. Whether you're frying, sautéing, or whipping up a salad dressing, just a splash of olive oil can elevate the flavor of any dish. Bringing with it the rich history and timeless elegance of Mediterranean cuisine. Every year, the world goes through nearly 3 million tons of olive oil. And some of the finest extra virgin bottles? They can sell for hundreds of euros each. But have you ever wondered how this golden elixir is actually made? To find out, we went straight to the source, the largest olive oil producer on the planet, to uncover how plump, ripe olives are transformed into pure, flavorful oil that captures both taste and tradition in every single bottle. Spain is currently the world's largest producer of olive oil, responsible for about half of the global supply. The art of extracting oil from olives has been around for over 5,000 years. And for centuries, some of the finest oils on Earth have come from this very region. At the heart of it all is Jaén, a province in southern Spain, home to over 66 million olive trees. Yep, you heard that right. That's more trees than people in most countries. In fact, Jaén alone produces as much olive oil as the entire nation of Italy. Its rolling hills stretch endlessly in waves of silvery green, a landscape dominated by one of the oldest cultivated trees known to humans. Olive trees can live for centuries, thrive in rocky, dry soil, and even bounce back after wildfires. Talk about resilience. Across the Mediterranean, there are around 700 known olive varieties, but in Spain, Picual is the king. It's known for its dense foliage, high oil yield, and bold flavor. But here's the thing. Not all olives make the same oil. Sunlight, irrigation, ripeness, and even the way they're harvested all play a role in the final taste. And in the level of polyphenols, the antioxidants that give olive oil its signature peppery kick and health benefits. For the Picual variety, harvest season kicks off in late October and runs through January. But the best olive oil? That comes from the first 3 weeks of the harvest, when the olives are still green, packed with nutrients, antioxidants, and bursting with rich, fresh flavor. As the fruit ripens, it gets darker and produces more oil, but the taste becomes softer, more mellow. That's why timing is everything. To capture the full nutritional value, the olives have to be harvested quickly, before they're fully ripe. Olive oil production is truly a race against time. As soon as harvest season begins, farmers must move quickly to collect all the fruit before quality begins to decline. That's why olive farms become a hive of activity, with harvesting machines running non-stop, 24 hours a day, for nearly 2 months straight. A single olive tree can yield anywhere from 44 to 110 pounds of fruit. Here, modern technology plays a central role. The harvesters are equipped with up to 750 rotating rods that shake the tree, causing the olives to fall directly onto a conveyor belt, which then carries them into a waiting collection bin. The machines intelligently adjust their movement speed based on the fruit density of each row, allowing them to harvest more than 90% of ripe olives without damaging the trunks or branches. Each tree takes just around 10 seconds to process, a remarkable improvement over traditional methods, which relied on laying nets beneath the trees and shaking the branches so workers could pick the fruit by hand. Technology has now fully replaced manual harvesting. The use of machinery not only boosts productivity significantly, but also shortens the harvest period and dramatically reduces the need for manual labor. In the production of extra virgin olive oil, the two most critical enemies are time and temperature. The shorter the time between harvest and pressing, the better the final oil quality. Ideally, the transformation from fresh olives to oil should be completed within 4 to 6 hours of picking. In advanced production regions like Jaén, freshly harvested olives arrive at the mill in as little as 90 minutes. Immediately, they move into the cleaning phase, the first step in the processing line. Powerful air jets remove leaves and small branches, separating the fruit from the debris. Next, The olives are washed with cold water to eliminate any remaining dirt, dust, or surface impurities. A second filtering step removes any leftover twigs or leaves, an important measure to prevent earthy flavors from contaminating the final oil. Damaged, overripe, or low-quality olives are also screened out at this stage. Oil yield and quality are closely tied to the harvest timing. Early in the season, when olives are still green, the extraction rate averages around 14%. By mid-season, as the fruit ripens, the yield can increase to 20%, producing more oil, although with a milder flavor compared to early harvest varieties. Next, the entire olive, including both the flesh and the pit, is crushed into a coarse paste. The goal is to break down the fruit's cellular structure and release the tiny droplets of oil trapped inside. This paste is then transferred into a specialized mixing machine known as a malaxer, a device equipped with slowly rotating blades that gently stir the mixture. During this malaxing stage, the tiny oil droplets gradually bind together to form larger oil globules, preparing the mixture for the next step, extraction. This phase is critical and tightly controlled for temperature. Operators carefully monitor thermometers to ensure the mixture never exceeds 81 degrees Fahrenheit. If the temperature rises too high, it essentially begins cooking the oil, stripping away its fresh flavor and valuable nutrients. The paste is gently stirred for about an hour, which makes the oil easier and more efficient to separate during the upcoming centrifugation process. The olive paste is then pumped into a centrifuge where the oil extraction takes place. Inside, the machine spins at high speed to separate the mixture into 3 distinct components. The solid residue made up of crushed pits and pulp, water, and finally, olive oil. Depending on the system, this separation can follow either a 2-phase or 3-phase process. In the 3-phase method, the initial spin separates the solids from a liquid mixture of oil and water. This liquid is then passed through a second centrifuge, which isolates the oil. The result is a golden yellow stream of freshly extracted extra virgin olive oil, the most prized outcome of the entire process. The leftover solids, known as alparujo, don't go to waste. After being composted, they're often repurposed as organic fertilizer or even processed into biofuel. Finally, the extra virgin olive oil undergoes a filtration process to remove any remaining impurities. Using fine mesh filters, small air bubbles and fruit particles left over from the crushing and centrifugation stages are thoroughly eliminated. This step leaves the oil crystal clear, smooth, and refined to an ideal level of purity, while also extending its shelf life. Next comes quality control. Samples from the freshly produced oil are taken for sensory evaluation to assess aroma and flavor, as well as laboratory testing to verify technical parameters and determine the oil's overall quality. One of the most important indicators is free acidity, which reflects how much of the oil's fatty acids have broken down during production or storage. For an oil to be classified as extra virgin, this value must be at or below 0.8%. In other words, less than 0.8% of the natural fatty acids in the oil have degraded, a strict standard that ensures the oil retains its full nutritional value, vibrant flavor, and freshness. Although extra virgin olive oil is richer in nutrients and taste compared to other oils, it also has a shorter shelf life. If not stored properly, its quality can quickly deteriorate over time. Immediately after passing quality control, the fresh olive oil is transferred into storage tanks to minimize its exposure to oxygen. This extra virgin oil is never heat-treated, never blended, and completely free of additives, preserving its pure, freshly pressed state. The oil is stored in massive stainless steel tanks that can hold up to 300 tons each. These tanks are housed in temperature-controlled rooms to maintain the oil's freshness and flavor until it's ready for bottling. To further protect the oil, any remaining space in a partially filled tank is filled with nitrogen gas, effectively pushing out oxygen, one of olive oil's 3 greatest enemies, along with light and heat. Unlike wine, olive oil doesn't improve with age. It doesn't mature. It simply degrades. That's why it's only bottled when needed, keeping every drop as fresh as the day it was made. At this facility, More than 600 of these tanks are processed every year. Light, especially ultraviolet rays, can oxidize olive oil and cause it to go rancid over time. To prevent this, the oil is typically bottled in dark green glass, one of the most effective colors for blocking UV exposure. Once all conditions have been carefully controlled, the oil is dispensed into bottles, sealed with caps, heat-sealed for freshness, and labeled, ready to make its way to consumers. With just a slice of toasted bread, you can experience the essence of this liquid gold. When stored properly, extra virgin olive oil produced through this method can retain its quality for up to 18 months. And that's the remarkable journey behind every drop of extra virgin olive oil. If you found this video interesting and want to explore more behind-the-scenes processes of the everyday foods we love, don't forget to hit the like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss what's coming next. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next fascinating journey.